Mrs. Nardini, you there?
Hi, I'm here.
Okay. All right. There we go. We didn't hear you at first.
How are we doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good.
So we got about 25 students. For our seniors. We have about 2 weeks left. And this year we're offering this sports and culture class. And right now we're going over media. So this is perfect timing for you to talk.
Love it.
Yeah. So we've had a few different guests, and kind of what they've done is talked for maybe 5 or 10 minutes about their career and what they do. And then the kids have come up with questions if that works for you.
Yep. Great.
All right. Well, feel free to kind of tell us what a day is like for you and how you got to your position and that kind of stuff.
Sure. Oh, can you guys, is there an echo or is that just me?
Do you guys hear an echo? No, I think we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So thanks for having me. I'm Erika Nardini. I'm the CEO of Barstool Sports. Barstool Sports is a media company. We're a lifestyle brand. We're a pretty disruptive internet company, I would say. I have been here 6 years, and we've grown the company in that time from like 15 people to 250 people. We make podcasts, we make videos, we have a lot of social accounts, and we talk about sports and entertainment and lifestyle and culture. And we cover sports and really anything we talk about from a fan first perspective. And we've built a company that is very different from how the majority of sports companies or media companies exist in the US. Prior to here, I worked in the music industry. So I had a job where I was working for a technology company where I was working with artists like Justin Bieber to find a way for them to connect to their fans and to have an ongoing relationship with their fans, kind of a social network for music artists. Before that, I was the CMO of AOL, and I had a bunch of jobs in marketing, really, media, marketing, sales. I went to a small school in Maine for college. I was an athlete, and I live in New York City. So that's kind of who I am, I guess.
Also, because I know some students will ask about this, whenever we were looking some things up, can you talk about, you're on an advisory board for maybe WWE and hockey? Yeah, could you talk a little bit about that?
So I sit on 2 boards. I sit on the WWE board. So I work with Vince McMahon and his team really to help guide them. They're a publicly traded company. Most of you guys probably know WWE. It's an awesome brand. It's a global powerhouse. And then I sit on the board of a company called Torchy's Tacos. Does anyone know Torchy's Tacos?
Anybody know what that is?
Right.
Can't say what you do. No.
All right. Torchy's Tacos is like they're a fast food restaurant. They make tacos. They make incredible tacos. They make great queso. So I help them on their board. And then I am very passionate about women's hockey. So I play hockey. I looked at buying a bunch of hockey teams. I'm still trying to figure out what to do there, but ultimately I would love to own a team, which is something that, that I'm working on kind of as my passion in sports.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that was a good foundation here.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So I'm going to have kids ask questions, but just to kind of start off, what's a typical day like for you as the CEO of Barstool?
Every day is different. So it's a little bit chaotic. I get to work around, let's say like 9 o'clock. I'm already checking email and stuff before I get here. I try to walk around and say hi to everybody. So we have about 250 employees. So I try to see what's happening, what content we're making, who's in a good mood, who's in a bad mood, what are the problems. I then have a ton of meetings. I feel like I'm always in a meeting. Whether it's to, I'll give you an example. I was just in a meeting about a bar and restaurant concept that we're thinking about. Or I had a meeting earlier this morning about one of our shows and what do we do to grow the show. Or I meet with some of our partners or our advertisers, or I meet with, my team on, hey, here's an initiative we want to pursue. How are we thinking about doing it? I like shove some food in at some point. I then have a bunch more meetings. And then we're an internet company, so we're always making content 24/7. So I'm always kind of watching what we're doing and, making sure that everyone has what they need and that we're set up for success in whatever we're trying to cover.
All right, anybody got a question that you want to ask right here off the get-go? No. All right.
No question.
Well, I have, so they all came up with 2 or 3 questions. I haven't written down. Some of them are camera shy. So
that's okay.
But with the idea, because obviously it's blogging and podcasts and all that, how much does Barstool kind of control what your content is, like the individuals, or is it pretty much someone writes an article and it automatically is going on Barstool?
Yeah, so we have about 80 people here who make content. They write about things that they know about or they're passionate about. And we have a production process that helps them make whatever it is they want to make. So if it's video, if it's podcast, if it's blogs, could be TikToks, doesn't matter. So we have a big production team and we have a big content team, and we put them together to help make the best content that we can. There's some people who've been here a long time who can make whatever they want. And there's some people who are very new who we're still training on how to do things. New people have ideas all the time. So we're always trying to find ways for people to, really pursue their passion, find new fans of their content. And then we seek to monetize that through advertising or selling t-shirts or stuff like that.
So kind of going with that, where the company has grown and you have so many new people, how does a person get hired at Barstool? How does that happen?
So it happens in all different ways. Sometimes we find random funny people on the internet. And other times we search for people on the business side for a really long time and we try to steal from our competitors. So it really depends on the role. People have come in here really funny ways. We made this fictitious football coach called Coach Doug's. And then we found a guy in real life who looked just like him and we hired him. So mostly we try to find people who have, something to say and are funny and who we think have the work ethic to grow a brand. And other times when we're trying to find a technology person or a business person or a salesperson, we need people who have relationships or expertise or a skill set that can help us grow.
Anybody got a question? I can ask it. Yes, ma'am. You want to come up here? Yeah. Okay. All right. One of my students, Kendall, is going to come up and ask a question.
All right. We got our first victim.
Hi.
Hi.
So what's your favorite part about your job?
Ooh, I love most of my job. I really love the people. I think they're so creative, and I love that we can do anything and we can try new things all the time, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. So I really like how experimental we are. I like working with people. I like solving problems. And I like being part of a team that's trying to build and do something. Are you a Barstool fan?
Yeah.
You are?
Yep.
What do you listen to or follow?
Usually Instagram and stuff is where I see a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, that
Yep.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Are you guys Rough and Rowdy fans?
It was just important. Yeah,
Rough and Rowdy's from West Virginia.
Right. You got it? You have another question?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Anybody else got a question? You want to come up, or you want me to ask? Yeah, so Rough and Rowdy, we have kind of a similar thing in Parkersburg called the Tough Man, which
Okay.
is similar
Yes,
to Rough and Rowdy.
absolutely.
But just personally, I went to one of the Rough and Rowdies a long time ago. That's kind of how I got into Barstool. So, with you were talking about different content stuff, I have a lot of kids who listen to Pardon My Take.
Yeah.
So, what are Big Cat and PFT kind of how they are on the podcast? Is that how they are in real life?
I think everybody's kind of like how they seem in real life, to be honest with you. They're so smart. They're so funny. They're brilliant. PFT walks around with his sunglasses on because he didn't want anyone to know who he was. So we're really lucky in that we have some really brilliantly funny creators. And those guys, and the nice thing is that they're real people. Like they're not a character. They're not a movie actor. They're just kind of who they are who they are.
All right. The other one that I had lots of kids ask, and because obviously he has all kinds of different shows and created the whole thing of what is Dave like?
Oh, totally. That's like the $1 million question.
Yeah, right.
I love Dave Portnoy. I think Dave Portnoy is the best person I've ever worked with. He is very sharp. He has very little patience. He is kind of like a cross between El Prez and a really humble guy who just wants to build a great business. He is wickedly funny, and he's a great listener. Like he's a great partner. So he's really fun to work with. He's truly brilliant.
All right, everybody, you don't have to come up here if you don't want to. Got questions? All right, Kendall's going to be the only one, I think.
Wow, Kendall, all right.
So what made you decide to join Barstool 6 years ago from the positions you had prior?
I always loved Barstool. When I lived in Boston when Dave started it. I used to read the paper when it was a newspaper. So I was a really big fan of the brand. And I also felt like they needed a lot of help and they needed to build the brand into something new. And I really liked that. And I felt like it was like a once in a lifetime chance to do something. Everyone thought I shouldn't do it. They thought it was like the dumbest move I'd made in my career. I disagreed with that. I've been here 6 years. It's kind of like flown by in a blink.
Yeah. I guess kind of going with that, like in college, you obviously don't major in being a CEO of.
Yeah.
Do you foresee yourself? Like, is this what you always wanted to do, or what had kind of been your aspirations out of college? What'd you major in, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, sure. I majored in sociology and philosophy. I thought I knew I wanted to work in business. I always really liked marketing. I thought I wanted to be a CMO, chief marketing officer, and I had that job. And then I didn't really love that job when I had the job, and I realized I wanted a different job. And this is my dream job. This is the best job. This is the best job I've ever had, and I'm like so grateful for it.
You want to ask about wrestling?
Ask who her favorite wrestler is.
Okay, so we got a WWE question.
Oh, all right, great.
All right, it's going to be two-part here. Do you have a favorite wrestler and who it is? And then what's it like working with Vince McMahon?
Oh, Vince McMahon is like Dave Portnoy in his 70s. He's like wild. He's the most positive person I've ever met. He still directs most every show, if not every show. Like he has incredible energy. He has a vision for that company and that brand that is like breathtaking. And he kind of acts like a 20-year-old a little bit. He's got like so much energy. My favorite wrestler, that's a tough one. I really like Sasha Banks.
You just got groans. I don't know if you heard that.
Really? You guys don't like Sasha Banks?
What'd you say? Okay. Someone said she's not the boss. I don't know WWE.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's a legit boss. I like Roman.
So,
Okay,
I like Drew. Does anyone like Drew?
that one was kind of a big bag there.
Jesus. Well, who do you guys like?
Who? Roman? Okay. Wait.
Rollins.
Who?
Rollins.
Okay. Rollins? Is that who you said? I don't know who these people are that they're talking
That's okay.
Yeah.
What about The Fiend? I like The Fiend.
Did you say that?
What?
Yeah, we didn't hear that one.
Oh, The Fiend. Does anyone like The Fiend?
I see.
Never heard of it.
I don't think they know him.
Oh, all right. The Fiend's pretty good.
Oh, all right. Yes, they do.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We've now got him talking a lot.
Oh, all right. That's great.
Who's your favorite wrestler of all time?
Oh. Andre the Giant.
Yes.
Okay, they liked that. That was a great.
All right, I'm doing better. Okay, great.
Yeah. All right. Anybody got questions? Got a question? Okay. All right. Are you at all in the process with WWE or how they do that of like building up the characters? How they go about that? Do you know much about that?
For Barstool or for WWE?
I think WWE, but Barstool, obviously that's your wheelhouse. So either one.
I think the WWE does an amazing job of building their characters. They have the benefit of television. You know, what's so incredible about the WWE is they do 6 hours of live programming every week that is, you know, it's storylines. And I don't think people appreciate sometimes how brilliant that is and how hard that is to do. And I think the other thing that they've done such a good job of is they've built characters that twist and turn, and you know, Roman's bad and then he's good and then he's bad, and I think that it's scripted, so it's a little bit different than Barstool because our people are our people. But I think that the way that they've made those storylines, you know, there's not a lot of dialogue in the WWE. They're just literally acting out and wrestling kind of a play. So I think the way that WWE does it is absolutely brilliant.
Talking about Barstool with kind of authenticity, do you think that athletes are more willing to come on your podcasts and different shows compared to like an ESPN or Fox Sports, which has more of a filter? Do you think they're more comfortable coming on Barstool?
Yes, I do. I don't think we're out to get them. Sometimes I think athletes go to ESPN or Fox or, you know, CBS or NBC, and the journalists are like trying to get them. It's very formal. It's intimidating. Whereas if you're talking to Big Cat and PFT, it's like you feel like you know them. They're making fun of themselves, and you're just part of their conversation. So I think that athletes are more comfortable coming here. They also get more followers. They have more traction because they've come here. You know what I mean? Like if you come on Pardon My Take, you have millions of people who are listening to that. You go do an interview on Sports Center or something and nobody's watching it. So it's also a better use of their time.
Going with that, this was something one of the students had. Other than your own podcast, do you have a favorite podcast that Barstool does?
Yeah. Does anyone listen to BFFs?
You guys TikTok?
Oh,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I like. All right. My favorite is $1 Million Worth of Game. Do you guys listen to $1 Million Worth of Game?
I listened to that one, but I don't know if anybody
Oh,
else.
I love $1 Million Worth of Game. I love Pardon My Take. I love Chicklets because I'm a hockey fan. The Dave Portnoy show I listen to because I'm like, what's going on with Dave? So I like a lot of our shows, actually.
I'm kind of changing gears. I'm just looking through all the different questions that they have. But I know this past year you guys hired Deion Sanders to be on your football show. How do you guys kind of choose? I mean, obviously Deion is a huge name and a huge personality, but something like that, how do you decide former athletes are going to work for you? And are there any that like you would love to see work for Barstool in the future?
That's a great question. I mean, I think that the best people who work here have like, Deion Sanders has a lot to say. You know what I mean? So I think that people who are unafraid and have a lot to say and are charismatic do really well. Athletes who are afraid of their shadow don't do well at all. So I would like more people like Deion. I mean, there's obviously only one Deion, but I think more people like that would help us and would go a long way.
Anybody got a question?
Ask her how Stephanie McMahon, Vince McMahon's daughter, how does like, what's she like because she's part of the movie.
Okay. All right. We're going back to a WWE question here. What Vince McMahon's daughter?
Yes, Stephanie.
What's Vince McMahon's daughter, Stephanie, like?
It's so funny. I literally just texted her and Vince, and I'm like, I'm supposed to be talking about Barstool Sports, and all these guys want to talk about is WWE. So they'll love that.
Yeah.
She's amazing. I mean, she grew up in a wrestling family. Like, she was a wrestler herself. Like, she's a brilliant marketer. She's a really good executive. And she also knows that brand inside and out. Like, she's truly, literally grown up with it. So I think she's pretty incredible, to be honest.
They kind of have grown up together, but how do you think social media has impacted Barstool Sports?
I mean, I think if it weren't for social media, we probably wouldn't be where we are today. So I love social media. I love the internet. I think TikTok is fascinating. I love Instagram. Twitter is, a cesspool, but an amazing platform. So, what social media did was it just broke all the rules, and it broke all the rules about how people have conversations and how people look at content. And we've really taken advantage of that to help grow. Otherwise, no one would have let us grow. So we use those platforms to grow ourselves.
I guess kind of bridging off of that, where do you see media? Because obviously media is changing so fast. Where do you see it going in the next 5 to 10 years?
I think that influencers will become the new media. So, do you guys like Carly D'Amelio? Do you guys follow the D'Amelios?
They know who they are.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you used to have entertainment news on Bravo or E or something, and now you're just going to go to the D'Amelios. So I think that the new media will all be from the internet, and it will mostly be personality driven.
And do you think, how will Barstool change or grow in the next 5 to 10 years?
Oh, I think we'll get much more physical. I think you'll see us in physical places. I think you'll see us have more personalities. I think you'll see us do more video. I think you'll see us get into new verticals. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Anybody got a question?
What is your favorite sport besides hockey, and who's your favorite player in that sport?
Okay. All right. So you kind of mentioned hockey, but what other sports do you enjoy watching, and who are some of your favorite athletes?
Okay.
Present day?
I love hockey. The Bruins are my favorite team. I'm from New England. I love football. We love West Virginia. We love Pat McAfee. I like the Patriots, although they had a rough year last year. Who do you guys root for in football?
Well, so we're kind of split where we are. We've got lots of Steelers fans and lots of Cleveland Browns fans. And I have one Carolina Panthers fan who is sitting right near me. And
just breathing down your neck.
But generally we're big Steelers or Browns because both are, from where we are about 2.5 hours.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I'd go for the Steelers over the Browns, but.
You're going to get some cheers and boos here.
But yeah, I love football. Those are really my two favorite sports.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite player on the
All right. Do you have a favorite player? I guess it'd probably be a Patriot, but a favorite player.
Favorite player. I love Julian Edelman. Julian Edelman was really one of my favorites.
Yeah, just retired.
Yeah.
All right. This is really changing gears, but I thought this was a really great question that somebody wrote down. Do you think you ever have like your authority questioned or anything being a female CEO compared to a male CEO? Do you see that at all?
I don't think so. Not here anyways. Like, I don't feel like people treat me differently because I'm a woman here at Barstool. I sometimes am always in the room with only other guys. Like I don't see a whole lot of other female CEOs, which kind of sucks. But I don't really feel treated differently here. No. And I think I'm lucky for that. I think that's partly why it works.
Yeah. Anybody other than Trevor have a question? Yeah. You want to come up here? Okay. All right. Got a student, Mason, coming up. It's actually it's his birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, Mason.
Sorry, Mason.
What's it like to be the only media company with a CEO and a CRO?
Well, we're not the only media company with only female, right?
Yeah, thank you, man.
I think it feels cool. I think we're good at our jobs. I don't know. I think it's weird that it's 2021 and there's not other companies that have more women at the top. But so I don't know. I guess it feels pretty good. Thank you. Happy birthday.
All right. Anybody got a question? I can ask it, or you can come up. So this is going to be more for, we've got a lot of kids who are seniors. When you're hiring someone, what do you look for in an interview or on a resume and things like that?
I look for work ethic more than anything, and demonstrable work ethic. So like, what have you done to make money? If you're passionate about sports or you're passionate about media or you're passionate about TikTok, like showing that you've done that. I think those things stand out. I think really taking the time to understand the company you want to work for matters. I have a lot of people who write me for a job and they spell Barstool wrong. And I'm like, well, you really don't care that much about getting a job here. So, so those are the biggest things I care about. I think you should find as much relevant experience as possible, but you should also be able to, and you need to be able to convey why you want to work for the company and why you are prepared to do what it takes to succeed in that job.
All right. Yes, sir. You want to come up here or you want me to ask? Okay. All right. Got another person.
Hello.
Hello.
What was my question? Oh yeah. My question was, like, do you like travel a lot with like Barstool and stuff?
Hi, Wallow. Do you want to say hi? We're talking to a high school class in West Virginia.
How y'all doing, man?
This is Wallow.
What's
Hold
up?
on, I'll answer your question. This is Wallow. This is Gilly.
Hey,
How y'all doing?
how are you guys?
Well, I can't see the kids.
We're good.
I'm just talking
Pretty
about
good.
myself.
Okay, we
Can't
doing great.
complain, man.
You talking to The big shot right here.
How you guys
Absolutely.
doing?
We loving life. We ain't got no complaints.
All right, I'm gonna come see you after this.
All right,
You going
we
to see
work
Jen?
right- Yeah, we got Dave here, right? 'Cause we gotta do the
Okay,
show.
okay.
Yeah,
All right,
do
I'll
the
come
show.
find you. Sorry about that. Do I travel? Yes, I travel. I used to travel a lot before COVID. I travel less now, but I like to travel. I like to go meet people. I think it's good for our business to get out there. So I would say I travel like every couple weeks to places not so great, like Philadelphia or California, which is better than Philadelphia, but that's pretty much it.
All right. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody got a
And
question?
I need to go. Is that all right?
Can we ask one more question?
Sure.
Okay, so we have had other guests and we kind of ended on this especially with seniors. If you were to give any kind of life advice to these kids as they graduate high school and are moving on, what would it be?
Well, first of all, congratulations. Like, it's such an exciting time. My advice to you would be to just like keep going after what you're passionate about. And don't worry if people tell you that you can't, don't listen to people who tell you you can't do what you want, or you don't know enough people, or you don't have enough experience, or you're not good enough, or you don't have good enough grades. Really keep pursuing your passion, and it will all work out.
Okay, all right, well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this, and I might be in touch about maybe next year, seeing if you can
Great,
do it.
I love that. Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you.
Okay, bye.
All right, goodbye.